How are we doing?
Okay.
Welcome back, troops. Episode number 2 of the Scotch Beef Podcast. That's my wee intro voice. How are we all doing?
You've just definitely one up to the radio voice I kept going on about last time.
I know.
He has been thinking about that though, because he had this rep, he had his beard all dyed.
People giving me a chat about the fucking intro being on.
I've at least done my hair and not trying to look like a Jake this time as well, because I never recorded a video last time.
You do like 10 times better, Fraser, so well done.
Do you want to shed some light on what Cornelius was saying about Fraser?
Well, there you go. So I started off the podcast episode 1 mentioning Cornelius, and obviously didn't give any context to it because I didn't know you were recording.
His boyfriend.
Basically, I'm back working with my old coach Cornelius. Cornelius is a coach. He's based in America. He's a guy that I've known for a very long time, from way back in the day, from like the forum days. So before social media got to where it's at now,
What forum?
the only real place you could get information was like chat rooms and bodybuilding forums. Did you? I take it you're too young for that, Taylor. You wouldn't have.
Oh no, the only thing I can think of is T-Nation.
Yeah, T-Nation was quite similar, but T-Nation was one of the later ones. There was loads of ones back in the day that it was basically the place where everyone went to get information, to get cycle information, like literally everything.
Diet, all that sort of stuff, and their training.
Yeah, training. People would just put up their training logs, their diet, everything. You could follow people's individual. It's kind of the same thing as Jordan Peters' forum that he's got on his site.
Videos and stuff. I imagine the videos were pretty poor.
Yeah, there wasn't really any videos, to be honest. It was just all like forums, like text, like words. So you would just read people's workouts and stuff.
That is so sketch.
I know, man. But
there must have been a drastic gyno outbreak that year.
The forums were class though, man. Like there was so much information, and it was literally the only place you could like ask someone or speak to someone. Like Cornelius was a moderator on most of the forums. Like he was just one of the most, like, back then he was just one of the kind of well respected guys that kind of knew what he was talking about. But yeah, anyway, I'm back working with Cornelius, so that's a nice segue into the first topic I wanted to talk about.
So was that how you met? Is that how you met Cornelius then?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I've known Cornelius for what? I was like fucking 15, 16 when I was like getting on all those forums.
Your first show.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So I've known Cornelius for fucking ages, for like 15 years or so, 14 years, whatever. But just kind of had a bit of a banterful relationship with him on the forums. Like I was always quite. I was young and annoying. I would like annoy these bigger guys and like pick their brains, and he took a shine to me because why wouldn't you? But
I love that pigeon.
Yeah, no, that's my demon. Pigeons on the other side.
To be fair, you were lucky he wasn't a pedo.
Exactly. That's essentially what he's done. Is he's groomed me.
He has. He's kept me for 15 years.
No, he's been grooming me for 15 years.
Loves getting a half naked check-in.
Finally,
I know.
Finally, now I'm sending him photos of me in my pants, so he got what he wanted. Yeah. But yeah, I'm back working with Cornelius now, and that's the first topic I wanted just to quickly cover, was what we're all personally doing right now, where we're all at right now in our kind of careers and what we're doing. So I've already started, so I can just rattle off. So I'm at a point where I want to eventually get back on a stage. Decided that I've got some unfinished business and that I want to try and give it another crack. So I'm turning 29 in 2 weeks. I feel like I want to really push it as much as I can before I'm 30. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm back working with Cornelius just purely based on the fact that I get on great with him. His knowledge is just fucking wild, man. I call him like a wizard. He just knows shit. And I'm just like, how the fuck does he know this? But yeah, but he was the coach that I worked with to get me ready for the show that I did. So he basically helped me win my first show. He got me into the best shape of my life, and yeah, I was just like, I want to fucking work with him again.
How is it working with him when he lives on the other side of the world?
It's fine. Obviously, there's like I don't know what the time difference is, maybe 4 or 5 hours. But if I get up in the morning at like 8 o'clock and I'll send him my check-in, he's usually gotten back to me by lunchtime. So I think he basically is waking up when it's like our lunchtime.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's not. I don't need. He's not a coach that I need to be messaging like every day. So it's fine in terms of contact.
Even on like prep, did you obviously when you were checking in more frequently, is that ever?
I mean,
I personally, I find that I get to a stage of prep where I want to check in and I want to just get that instant, just like, all right, okay, well, this is what's going to happen, or just like at least an acknowledgement.
I think the thing is, Fraser will be able to relate with this. Me and Fraser are both currently online coaches right now who get loads of check-ins sent through on a Saturday, and I'm always like thanking people for their patience and stuff, and we both understand, like from his point of view, he's very, very busy and he's got a lot of clients messaging him, so I don't ever pester him for a response. And if you're watching this and you've got a coach, and like, that's just something I want to just quickly kind of highlight, is that bear in mind that the coach that you've got has got 20, 30, 40, 50 plus other people that they need to get back to. So my clients are all good. Nobody ever pesters me for a response, and I'm always like within 24 hours getting back to them. Yeah. But
mine are quite good as well with that as well.
Yeah, like now and again you get somebody like gonna like almost like hurrying you up, but you need to just be understanding, the same way I'm very understanding with Cornelius. He fucking lives in America. He's got a lot of clients, and he's a very well established coach in America. So I just like let him get back to me whenever he gets back to me. But as I said, so he's always good at getting back. He gets back to you within the day, which is all that really matters.
And I presume like show days is always on the phone basically.
Well, yeah, for my show that I did last year, it wasn't that. I would have had to have paid him a lot more money to get like that daily fucking.
Even that far into prep, and you're still kind of coaching, you know.
I mean,
or is it just like a different? Is it one of those like tiering things almost as well?
Not really. It was just, I mean, not to sound big-headed in any way, because it was my first show that I did, but I felt like I didn't need like constant hourly feedback. Like,
you weren't of that standard.
Yeah. Like I wasn't that important that I need every hour send me photos. I need to see what you look like every hour. Like, I feel like if you're ready, you're ready. Like you shouldn't be needing constant hourly looks over unless you're fucking getting ready for the Olympia. Like,
unless you're
like when you're doing your first ever show, even though your body's going to be responsive because of all the diet you've done, for peaking, I don't think it's going to be quite the same as someone that's like experienced and their body's gone through it quite a few times.
Yeah.
Like small things would do it in comparison to like you're doing drastic changes.
Yeah. But he basically he sent me my protocol. He said like, go do X, Y, and Z. He told me everything to do, so I didn't really need the kind of constant feedback. But yeah, that's my quick update. I am on my road back to getting on a stage, but for me, it's something that needs to be done in phases. So I spoke to Cornelius about it. Like, phase 1 is to try and regain all the muscle that I've lost from coming off of gear, and I've had some injuries and stuff that I've just basically lost muscle. So I need to rebuild muscle first. I've let myself get a bit too out of shape, so I need to get rid of body fat as well. So we're basically doing a recomp just now. Once my body fat is a lot tidier, we're then going to do a proper off season, like try and grow. So I want to try and get back to where I was, and then try and add a wee bit more tissue, and then eventually.
You're still carrying a lot of tissue.
Yeah,
it's a hard process for you to do.
Yeah, a lot of fullness. You just be lacking fullness as well in certain areas. So
yeah, so I think my muscle memory is a fucking wonderful thing. So I'll rebuild. I am rebuilding muscle very quickly. So yeah, just go through the phases, and then once I feel like I've added new tissue and my physique is of a certain level, then we'll kind of pick a show. So this is like a 2-year plan. I'm not going to be competing anytime soon, so it's just a kind of long-term plan for me.
And you did say that you're maybe like try and get in and out, so that do it like you kind of want to do it before you're 30. Does that mean that after you've turned 30, you're going to just patch it, or are you going to just?
No, I mean, I don't ever like to have long-term plans, because shit fucking happens in life. Stuff changes all the time. So
yeah,
I just want to basically get back on the stage within the next few years, like while I can, like before fucking thinking about kids and all that sort of stuff comes into the mix.
You're dropping the K-bomb. Amber,
you had that chat yet?
First in the door.
Karen, like me. You know, it's just.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, so that's me. I don't want to rabble for too long. So Taylor, where are you at just now? What are you doing?
That was actually, I don't know if I can live up to that, because that was, you really covered so much there.
Yeah, just update people. What are you doing?
I can't really say I've just came off the back of my first prep, but I kind of have. It's about a couple of months.
Yeah.
And so basically for about 6 weeks after, I kind of took the piss, didn't really do anything, and just with the timings, ended up not training for a little bit, but still somehow was fortunate enough not to really lose anything from not properly training in about 6 to 8 weeks. Fortunately, I'm so grateful for that, because you know how difficult it is to actually get it on. So yeah, now I'm just back. When I started up with a new coach, he brought me down a little bit, because obviously I just went off plan for so long. It was so stupid. You just kind of get sidetracked because you're deprived for so long, and my first time doing it, it's a lot more harder to like regain control than what you'd think, to be honest with you, because it's a slippery slope. But yeah, so obviously took the piss for a bit, went through the whole phase of feeling like absolute shit, feeling awful, and I think that kind of firmly provoked.
And that happens to pretty much most people post prep.
Yeah, mate, it's dark. It's like, mate, it's a fucking dark place at a certain point. So
we all talk. Most people know that post prep is the worst period of your life.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt your story too much, but I just want to say, for me, post prep was harder than the actual prep.
Yeah,
it's people don't realize that. Like,
it's done. Your mentality's not there. You're like, I mean, why can't I just have this fucking bag of cookies?
So
yeah,
my intention was to go to compete PCA first timers, win my junior class, which I firmly believed I could do, and then that would qualify me for the for the British at the end of the year.
Sorry, on you go.
What were you going to say? Qualify?
I was going to say that would have qualified me for the O.
Of course, mate. Of course. Yeah. It's a golden ticket. I wish. So did that, and then that would have got me an invite to the British. So I almost had this lined up in my head, and I was this is it. I was like, I'm fucking owning this. I'm like, this is what's going to happen. And then obviously everything goes Pete Tong, with like obviously all the shows then being cancelled, then being like, oh well, shows were cancelled. I didn't even think of like the coronavirus like shutting all the gyms. So I was like, I'm just going to enjoy myself for 2 weeks. Then come the end of the 2 weeks, obviously I just kept eating. I couldn't control myself. And after, what was I saying? It's gone. It's going to come now.
Just post show talking about how difficult you found it.
So obviously that the gym's shut, and then the gyms are shut, and then everyone's going into lockdown. So that's the kind of plan of the later show. Like everything's just cancelled now, so I'm just kind of sitting about with a thumb at my arse.
Don't think there's any point in focusing on trying to prep for a show this year. There's just too many questions.
I know it's such a difficult one though, because especially for those that I've tried to be quite strategic about it, and okay, you know, if they're maybe like if they're bikini or something, for example, that's something you probably could prep from if you've got really good structure already and you're carrying a decent bit of tissue. I reckon that's a prep that you can definitely start, and then as the phases open up, you know, you're good to go because everything will be open and the shows will be going. But yeah, it's hectic though. I mean, I totally agree with you. It's quite a shame as well because there's so many people that were so set. You know, I was so set on it, and then there's nothing happening, and now I'm in two minds to whether to maybe give it a bash at the end of the year. But I wouldn't be comfortable putting this pressure on me in such a short period with my new coach to then do it. You know, I feel like you need to spend a lot of time with them anyway, in the off season, getting them to properly know you before to just rush them into prep, because it puts you in a position, it puts them into a position.
Yeah. You're in quite a similar situation, Fraser. So
yeah, pretty much the exact same. I mean, I'd gone into I'd spent straight after the shows last year, and never lost focus. So I'd spent the majority of the year and everything prepping, and the prep in comparison to last year was just so much easier. I can't begin to describe how much easier the prep was. It was absolutely not an issue at all.
I remember even training with you. Like you handled that prep like a fucking boss, man. And I'm honestly not just saying that because I'm your mate. I remember thinking, fucking fair play, man. Like not a single moan came out of you. Like it was just fucking get your head down. You were just getting on with it.
What was different?
Yeah. Say again?
What was different?
Oh, fat came off so easily. There was a couple of things that were different. Like this prep, I went 17 weeks without a cheat meal. Last prep, I was getting kind of fairly regularly. But one thing, and I hadn't really. It's weird because there's obviously a lot of information out about this. The previous prep struggled a lot with cravings as well. So I don't know if that came about because of cheat meals and stuff like that. But then I would always find I was going for 0 cal jellies and stuff like that to try and help me feel fuller.
Yeah.
But with this prep, I was just focused on purely the meals I had. I wasn't really going other than your Pepsi Max and stuff like that. That was pretty much the only thing I was really having. And I was not craving anything really. Don't get me wrong, I'll be if someone said you can have a cheat meal, I would have gone for it, but it wasn't the same thing, pure oh, I need food as badly, and fat was coming off. The last, was it 2.5 weeks out or something like that, we were from when everything got cancelled, we just made we basically just got me to a point where we're kind of holding me at it before we really tried to make that push, that last bit off for the first show, which is Saxon. But literally the 2 days we made the change, and then 2 days after, everything got cancelled. But on the day, I remember seeing 2 days of what we'd done annihilated a load of body fat off me. It was amazing how responsive my body was. So for me, I'm just going to focus on next year. I don't see the point on trying to push for one this year. Kind of make sure I get a good structured off season again, because last year I grew so much in comparison to the year before. So I do really excited to get on stage again just to see the difference that I was looking like on stage.
Yeah.
So my intention is now, just do it again. I mean, we can bitch and moan about it, but it is what it is. May as well just get through it. There's moaning isn't going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get away with a shorter prep this time. That's my hope anyway, but I'll just see, because it depends on how hard you really kind of push in the off season, because you've obviously got to be willing to sacrifice condition to an aspect. You obviously want to hold it as much as possible, but sometimes it's required. just to try and push that a little bit more muscle on if you've got the time.
Yeah.
So just kind of see, but I was the same as Taylor though. Was it the Saxon, the Scottish, Hull, and possibly Manchester? I was doing.
Yeah.
So obviously that all went to shit, and I was hoping that one of them had got a win to do British finals. I wouldn't do finals unless I won. Really, I don't think. But yeah, so that's where I was at.
You're definitely going to stay in men's physique just now. Oh, he's frozen, the bastard.
For fuck's sake.
You see him.
As soon as you mentioned men's physique, you're like,
I know. He's frozen. I think he's frozen.
For fuck's sake.
Well, I'll just edit this bit out. What time is it at? What time is it now? 2:07.
How do you even edit?
I just bring it into iTunes, iMovie, and then just goosebumps, and I just make one adjustment, but it's fine.
Easy.
You'll just have to say welcome back. Well,
No.
let's see. I'll just.
Why don't you hit stop just now?
Oh, there we go. Coming back. Well, what time did we start? It was about.
Oh fuck knows, man.
All right, I'll just say. I'd say we've been on for about 50 minutes.
Let's speed it up. But yeah, so.
Oh, no, wait, you need to introduce us, Darren. Introduce again. Just say hi. Sorry about that.
Hi. Wee bit of technical difficulties, but welcome back to episode 2. As we were saying, Fraser was just updating us on what he is currently up to.
Focusing on men's physique, still kind of feel like I've got unfinished business to try and do there, as stupid as that sounds.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of just do well at it before I move up. I don't think the jump up to classic or something like that would be too much, especially if I get another good off season like I did last year. So I'll just see. But I'm not jumping the gun. I'll do it. I'll move up when I'm ready. I don't feel I should move up unless I'm going to be competitive in it. I don't want to move up and then just be tiny in comparison to everyone else, because then you're just like fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd push above that again and try and go for the mystery classes?
No, I couldn't put that much muscle on my frame. I'm a big lanky fuck.
Yeah, I know, but you say that, but you've seen. Do you know what I mean? You've seen people do it. So.
Yeah, but I'm 6'4", and I mean.
Aye, right.
It's not even that. It's not a case of getting up to
Definitely not 6'4", are you?
Nice.
Yeah.
You're the same. We're like the same.
I'm taller than you, you wee fucking cunt.
Look at that shaled on top of your head, man.
I know it's a fucking
But so I don't, because I'm a lot taller. Even though I could have the same weight as them, I'll just look like a twig just because of my length of limbs. To be 6'4" and competitive, you need to be fucking heavy. So I just need to see.
Oh,
it's not a podcast unless Taylor's eating.
I know, man. It's not a bodybuilding podcast unless one of us is eating.
Exactly. That's going to be the slogan. We're getting t-shirts.
Yeah, slogan. Right, do you want to dive into? We'll dive into some topics.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Trying to keep it brief. So let's just quickly touch on this one, because I actually got a message today by a client about this, and I've had another message about it as well. So a couple of people have asked if we can cover fat burners.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I'll just jump in quickly and just say basically what I said to my client. So my client asked me, what's your opinion on fat burners?
Can we specify the two different types of fat burners?
Yeah. So I'm just about to, if you can fucking...
Is that legal and illegal?
Tell me!
So I basically said, anything you can buy in a shop or from a website is 99% of the time it's not a fucking fat burner. Fat burners do not exist.
Yeah, just caffeine tablets.
Yeah, so there's no such thing as a fat burner in my mind. Because in terms of, I know what her mindset was when she asked that. So she comes from a position of not having the knowledge. So she's asking because she genuinely doesn't know. what's a fat burner? Are fat burners worth it? I basically said, what you're referring to, no, there are drugs that you can get on the black market from a drug dealer.
On the black market.
Yeah, there are drugs that exist.
It just sounds a lot. Yeah, it sounds a lot more.
Yeah, that
You're importing.
that's what it fucking is. That's where you get steroids and shit. So there are drugs that exist that can help you burn fat, but in terms of over-the-counter supplements that you can buy from a shop, they're absolute bullshit. And the same goes with like all these fucking Slimming World, Herbalife, Pish. Like,
have you guys ever tried Shreddable though?
Yeah.
Have you tried?
That wasn't a fun experience.
I feel like that. I feel that just totally just like wipes that conversation. Jesus.
I know, but you need to remember that what's in Shreddables is definitely not legal ingredient.
I've heard it. It has traces of Gehembine, or at least Shreddable 1.0 had it.
There's something in Shreddables that is definitely not legal.
So I had to take it. Like, I had a client that was wanting me to, like, it was a bit nervous about taking them, and I was in prep, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine to take one. I'll notice the effects of it, if anything, and give her feedback. And I took it, and then I just remember being pure, like wired. And then I had tanked, like, one thing as well on them, you need to watch your caffeine intake for the day, because I tanked 2 coffees and a Monster by that point in the day, then took that, and I was like shivering and like shaking, and just I couldn't.
Did you get the cold sweats?
Oh, so bad, mate.
Oh, mate.
So bad. But it was good.
Oh, it's a ride. It's a ride.
If you don't know what Shreddables are, Shreddables is basically like an extreme caffeine supplement, really.
Yeah.
Loads of other stuff like that, Beta Vulgaris and.
Yeah, I mean, there's natural.
Yeah, there's loads of companies that do.
Green tea.
You've also got.
Like.
You've got your Himbine.
Yeah.
Which is like legal and stuff like that as well, which is out of effectiveness out of all the legal ones.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's probably the most effective.
I would say I don't think you can't get it in the UK though. You have to get it imported, so certain sites will import it for you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just want to let me just clarify for anyone that's listening. If you are taking a fat burning supplement with the thought process of it's going to help you lose fat, you shouldn't be taking it, okay? Taking a pill and expecting it to make you lose fat is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Unless you are following a very structured, strict diet and doing cardio, you're not going to lose fat, all right? Those are the two main things.
You need to be in a calorie deficit for it to have any effect. If you're not in a calorie deficit, you're just pissing into the wind. These pills won't help you lose fat even if you're in a caloric surplus. You need to be in a deficit.
I would also say though, some of them will literally make you sweat your tits off.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what all it is. It's not fat burners, it's just like
thermogenic. Yeah, so basically the thermogenics will heat you up from the inside out, and you know, of course, if I'm here at whatever weight and then I go take this, sweat like hell, not amply hydrated, that's gonna like show on the scales, you know, and you're gonna feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just do not be fooled by that.
Most people get shit without them.
Yeah.
Most of these things are just things that increase your heart rate a wee bit more and make you a wee bit hotter, so you sweat more.
Yeah.
It's not actually making you lose fat, it's just making your body fucking sweat. So yeah.
Moral of the story, avoid Shreddable at all costs.
Yeah.
Mate, but I see people just taking them, they're on their story and they're taking like 2 a.m. and they're fine. They're sound.
What?
Oh, they'll take 2. I mean, I've seen a couple of people do it. And like, oh, you know, I take 2 because my tolerance is pretty high. You know, what are the AD athletes? The brand AD's the brand that makes Shreddable. One of the AD athletes takes like 3.
Fuck's sake, man.
I'd be in the 3rd dimension. I'd be gone.
I mean,
I would be back in that underground club that's literally under the ground.
I would literally be in the ground.
An underground club under the ground.
I know, man. But yeah, so yeah,
We're going to have to find that post and just insert it.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere. Instagram will have it. Instagram will probably have it on their database of most fried posts.
Most fried Mongo.
Yeah, that was good.
Right, let's move on. We've covered that now. What was the other one?
So the only other thing to talk about now. Me and Fraser's we debate. So
yeah, what is this?
Right.
First,
Taylor, you've got to side with who you want.
Let me just give the viewers and Taylor the background before we get into the discussion. All right. So, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, my coach, I'm working with a new coach now. He, through the consultation process, he said, right, I want you to record your current method of training. Just record me a full week, all the exercises you did, all the sets, all the reps. Let me see how you're currently training. And then he basically looked at it. So I sent him over and he basically said, it looks pretty good. So what we were previously doing was a very low volume, heavy load type training. Yeah. Like everyone else in fucking Britain's doing. Yeah. So one heavy set, one light set, just like 2 working sets, very minimal volume. So Cornelius said, that all looks good. What I want you to do though, just to add in a wee bit of extra volume, is to add in some German volume training. So he said, just pick one exercise throughout your workout. So if you're doing a chest session, when you do bench press, then you do incline dumbbell press, then you do cable crossovers, whatever, just pick one of those movements and do some GVT.
Uh-huh.
If you don't know what German volume training is, it's basically 10 sets of 10 reps. So it's obviously very high volume. So I think he just wanted to sprinkle a wee bit of volume into the current training plan. So me and Fraser have been training together, and for over the past 2 weeks, we've been following this new system where we've been just chucking in a GVT movement throughout the workout. And basically, we've gotten to a point now where Fraser's decided that he doesn't quite like it and he thinks it's affecting his recovery and performance.
Yeah.
So that's where our wee debate occurred. So
I'm really worried as well because everything I've heard off of this Cornelius guy, he seems so bang on, and I don't want to seem as if I'm pure slating his ways. I want to go that for the record.
So
I think it's important. So do you know much about GVT, Taylor?
Yeah,
or got any experience with it?
I would just say that it totally depends how you treat it, because you can go at it all guns blazing, which I'm presuming you probably do, or you can maybe go at it from a metabolic approach, whereby you could maybe do it occluded and it's just pump work, but it's almost like a muscle round, like the rest's really short.
Yeah.
And which, in that case...
One thing we both did comment on today is that we both reckon it would be far easier if it was like maybe a machine that we could do it on, because we're doing everything free weight, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, like we were, like today, for example, I done my GVT on a bent over barbell row. So my lower back was getting fucking hammered by like 7th, 8th set. I was like, fuck me.
Mate,
that's the things that I'm talking about. So like, I'm noticing that as well. So when we're going into like maybe other days that we were back squatting, like not 3 days after that,
your lower back,
you can't back squat, and it's just that's my thing that I'm noticing it's having too much of an impact onto other sessions. Now we could look at like, obviously I understand we could look at recovery. We altered the split anyway to try and allow and compensate for more rest days in between. But I mean, right now my opinion is I'm, other than training at yours and trying to get over 10,000 steps, that is my activity. So my recovery should be pretty bang on. My food has been good, but it's just I'm noticing too much of an impact on my strength. So like my top sets I'd sometimes be going for are just going down. And to me, I'm just like, well, if I'm not recovering for next sessions and I'm not maintaining my strength, my volume's too high. Now, I've not got an issue with more volume. 100% you should be adding in more volume into your training when you can, but I don't think GVT was working. I would maybe go, okay, sound, let's do that. If we're like, right here, on your main compounds, add an additional 1 or 2 working sets. I would work with that as well.
Yeah.
Or add in extra fluff work, but adding on an extra 10 sets of 10 it's just frying me. And if I'm noticing my strength's regressing, like we talked about it, needing deloads and stuff like that, that's a sign that I need to rest and stop. And that's my issue. Like, so that's why I'm stopping GVT. It's not a case of like I'm saying I'm not going to do additional volume. It's just I would hit my peak set, maybe do two deload sets as well. In addition with that, aim higher rep, and then move on to another exercise to make sure that I'm getting the most out of them. But I feel like, especially in that first set in GVT, like, I'm not saying that I'm not like feeling it, but it's not the same. You're always having to save plenty of energy in the tank for it, and half of it as well is I fucking hate that training. Like, it's so boring. And that's another aspect for me as well. You've got to, like, you obviously get adherence from stuff you enjoy. If you're not enjoying it, you won't adhere to it. So before it's just kind of like I start half-assing training when it comes to that, I would rather alter it to make sure, because I want to make sure I'm seeing progression.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also when you stress the importance of recovery capabilities, but also stress the importance that your recovery capabilities are unique to you. You know, and how you manage everything around it, because 10 by 10 might be fine for you, Darren, but, you know, with Buckley and Fraser, you know, I might respond totally different. I might find a middle ground, or I might be like Fraser. I reckon I'd probably more like Fraser, though.
I was noticing as well, I wasn't feeling as like
motivated to do it. Oh, really? Like, actually, physically, like I was actually like.
It's not like from photos or anything like that. It's literally, and this sounds daft, it's literally like from how clothes feel. Like, you know how we sometimes put stuff on, it feels a little bit tight or something like that. Stuff started feeling a little bit different on me. And like pumps and stuff like that looking.
See, I want to get Taylor's opinion on this, because the debate here isn't that Fraser thinks German volume training is shite and I think German volume training is good. The issue I had with Fraser was that he's only given it 2 weeks and then he's formed his opinion. So I think you need to give something like 6 to 12 weeks minimum before you decide, right, this isn't working for me. I feel like he just decided too quickly that it wasn't working without properly giving it a chance.
I would say yes and no, because Fraser's been training for years. He's in a good position to make educated decision based on the research which is out there, which you know, and based on what we know about growing, we need to ensure we're resting appropriately. And so if that's not working, if he feels like he's getting hammered, you know, it's almost like hitting your head against a wall again. Like, you kind of know it's not good. You've seen and applied other things that you know working. I would almost feel it would just be kind of counterproductive, especially with what's out there. There's many other methods of training which we know are far more effective than GVT. So, you know, why throw it in? Is it maybe, though, he's putting the 10 by 10 so you've got more outputs, just trying to get more calories, because that's going to ruin you, you know? So
I think one of the main things we've did wrong, Fraser. So today I actually did a wee bit more. I already roughly knew what GVT was, but I did a bit more research on it today. And I think one of the main things we've done wrong is lifting. Well, me personally, I've been lifting far too much weight when I've been doing it. So what the research and what the science says is that you need to be lifting 60% of your 1 rep max.
Yeah, so
that's fairly light. The point of it is so that you're doing 10 sets, like set 1, 2, 3, and 4 should be pretty easy. So you'll love it. You're picking a weight that you can essentially do maybe 20 reps with, and you're doing your first few sets, you're doing your 10 reps. It's an accumulation of fatigue you're trying to get. So by the time you get to the 7th, 8th and 9th set, your body's accumulated a drastic amount of fatigue, and you're really exhausting and taxing your muscle when you get up to those 8th, 9th and 10th sets. But the mistake that we've made, or I've definitely made, is that I've started my first set at far too much weight. A set where I was kind of struggling to get 10, and then it's been like barbell rows 100 kilograms on the first set, second set 100 kilograms, third set, fuck, this is getting hard now, I need to drop it down to 90, and then it's like the weight's going down, which the weight should be staying the same. That's something I didn't realise, Fraser. Like, so I think we should have been going a bit lighter. Maybe that's why we've really struggled to recover with it, because we've been lifting a bit too much.
The days that we haven't done that, we've like, well, when I've gone for the GVT, depending on what exercise, I know there's only like one movement I haven't done this, but like just because of exercise selection, we have options available to us just right now. We've got, I've like, if it's been a bent over row, I've stuck at 100 kilos because I'll row 100 kilos for 10 sets of 10.
Yeah.
But my lower back is still fucked when I'm trying to go into back squat.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from 100%, but there's still been stuff like, there's times that when you think back, we have been doing that, but it's still having impacts onto other sessions.
Yeah.
That is literally my only issue with it. Like, see if your goals are different to mine and you're trying to like maybe just go into a fat loss phase or something like that, you're not really trying to put on as much, get strong and grow as much as what we all are. Yeah. It could be actually really beneficial to you. It could be a good tool to use.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a hard one because it's like I feel like I've not let my brain or my mind decide if it's good or bad yet. So just because I feel like it's far too early to decide that.
I just feel like, especially right now, I don't feel like I would be in a position to alter my food as much without really sacrificing like body composition just now as well, because I don't want to just start getting fat and up my food to make sure I'm recovering for the training, because I wasn't feeling it like at all, and I don't have access to like cardio equipment and stuff like that. It'd be easy enough to try and help with that adjustment.
It felt to me that you did the first exercise we did of the workout, I can't remember what it was, incline barbell press. You did your first loading set. So you did this was like the exercise before we did the GVT. You did your first movement and you didn't do as much reps as you did the previous week. So you basically instantly seen that, right, my lift progressed.
But bearing in mind, we've only got like maybe a high incline and an incline.
Yeah.
And I know what my reps and stuff like that would be for like, so on a shoulder day we have high incline, chest day we're doing just an incline. But I noticed across the last 4 sessions that my weights were dropping. So every time I was going to press, they were I wasn't meeting the same numbers. And it's just a case of like, right, you know what, it's probably I'm pressing too much volume. So if we were to do it or reassess looking at it, I wouldn't look at doing
that. That is a fair point to say, just because a little bit off topic, but just because your reps have went down on one lift 1 week or maybe a second, don't be disheartened, because you could have pushed harder an exercise or 2 before, you know. So the way I do it is I do like a 3-strike rule. So if the lift doesn't progress in any shape or form, be that tempo, form, you know, an actual load increase, then...
Well, actually, we should quickly cover that as well. When we're obviously talking about progressive overload training. Now, everyone always just puts their mindset on focusing, that's just weight. I mean, when we talk about progressive overload, weight is obviously one aspect of it, but you look at progressing your reps, and form and rest time is something that people often completely ignore. That when you go into progressive overload, you could grade your form at like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, and if it's improved from like if say if you still get 5 reps from the weight, and you got that 5 reps to get the same last week, but it was a better 5 reps, that's still progress. That's still you handling the weight better. That's still technically progressive overload. If you managed to hit 5 reps and the exact same thing, this time you only took 60 seconds rest instead of 90 seconds rest, that's still progress.
Yeah. And when you actually look into like the mechanism of hypertrophy, so if you don't know what that means, it just means like how you can build muscle. You've obviously got mechanical load, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. So you're really wanting to go through all of those. And the best way of ensuring mechanical tension is to make sure that your form's perfect, to make sure that your time under tension is perfect. You know, to make sure that you're increasing loads appropriately. You know, rest times. You know, it's all part of a much bigger picture that people maybe know a little bit about, but should know more. Because then I feel like that almost acts as a kind of like a reminder to standardize everything.
Yeah.
So you know, when you do like everything looks and has to feel a certain way. You know, otherwise it's a guessing game. And don't get me started on people that don't log, man.
I know.
Figured.
But the final nail in the coffin. I just want to like.
Yeah, there's been so much knowledge dropped in the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, like the
I know.
The final nail in the coffin for me was just. Again, I said I felt like you made your decision too quickly and that you didn't give it enough time. But I felt like there was so many other factors that you didn't take into account or consider. You just jumped straight to your decision without thinking, like, literally.
I get that.
Let me say, like 48 hours previously, you heavily drank and you were extremely hungover.
We're right.
So one
of your first proper workouts since drinking heavily, you've regressed in strength. So could that have just been because
that's something I've never noticed happen before?
Did you not see that he'd regressed the past couple of weeks, the past few weeks?
Yeah, I've been regressing the sessions before that.
That would have almost
before that.
You know what? You fucked it for yourself here, because now he can say that it's because you were breathing and you can't be sure because the 3-strike rule. People, man.
That was a 4th strike, but that was a 4th one.
Doesn't count.
But you made a good point, Taylor. That
I'm not saying that I'm not going to do additional volume across my sets. I'm just saying that I'm not going to do 10 sets of it.
Do you know, I looked over a study that while I was researching it a bit further, and the study was they got two groups. The first group did the GVT, they did the 10 sets of 10, but the second group did 5 sets of 10. So they did half the amount of set. And I think it was 2 separate studies. In the first study, the 5-set group built more muscle.
Oh, but that's so hard to tell, though.
And so that in the first study, the 5-set group was more effective, but in the second one, there wasn't any difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
So the debate isn't, does German volume training work? Because yes, it obviously does work, but
is it necessary?
Yeah, is it necessary? That one of the studies proved that you can do 5 sets and get more muscle versus doing 10 sets, which I thought was quite interesting.
That's when you look into minimum effective reps, and then how it kind of, as you kind of increase towards that failure point, you know, the muscle damage increases.
Yeah.
I've no issue with still doing like 3-4 working sets on an exercise, but I would rather drag it back down to something that I could was like, right, I'm recovering from that, so you can do more. Then starting out at 10 and like, I'm not recovering. So draw it back a bit and then progress it up 100%. But it wasn't that one instance of one session where you could possibly, where you could say a hangover could have influenced that. It wasn't. That's not a fair comparison.
100%. But yeah, that was quite good. I think Taylor made a good point of a factor that I didn't take into account was individual recovery abilities. Like I might be able to recover differently to what you can,
And
or vice versa.
just remember, you've been off gear for how long? And this is your 3rd week. So you're at a point now where things are starting to pick up.
Yeah.
Fraser's
almost at the point where I'm in a position where I'm going to be progressing no matter what I do, no matter what training I do.
You now need to be training, well, as much as you can, but Fraser's probably in a point now where more isn't better.
Yeah.
That's why I find this stuff so interesting, because it's...
it's always debatable. It's always debatable.
Yeah. And then if you look at the 2 studies, then you ideally need like is it a a meta-analysis, which gets all of them and then puts into one, because there's so many different variables. You know, are they novice, are they intermediate trainers? Like it's, I find this part about it so interesting, and apart from the whole, the aesthetics of it, which is fucking awesome.
Plus, you could look at it like the practicality aspect. Like, sure, a study might say doing 10 sets of 10 reps will build more muscle, but once you put that into practice, you then might find out you're not able to recover from that style of training. So it's not going to be effective.
People that were doing the 10 sets of 10.
Yeah.
That's something I wish I'd done so much sooner. Is instead of wasting time, I actually found a passion, for the physiology and the actual drivers of hypertrophy prior to wasting all those years. Like I could have came on so much if I had just digged a bit deeper. And I'm fortunate I'm in a position where I'm doing that. I'm making efforts to learn new things, and because I thoroughly enjoy it.
As much as you can to elicit hypertrophy.
Muscle hypertrophy. I know.
But yeah, I mean,
that was great.
That was good.
We're not bloody roll tonight, boys.
How long is that we've been chatting? We're obviously gonna try and work on making these podcasts not last fucking days long. So
yeah,
how long have we been on?
We'll just fire up, just do like a quick.
Yeah, we'll try and rattle through some easy. Let's do some easily answered questions, not questions that are going to take fucking 45 minutes to answer.
I think it just kind of snowballs into that, man.
Yeah. So I'll get them up.
What's been your worst job you've ever had?
Oh my God, I've got. Well, before I became a personal trainer and online coach, I worked my way up through Tesco. So I worked my way up through management in Tesco. So I was
I had no idea.
Mate, I worked my way up through Tesco, like through different various management roles. Like I worked in retail for 9 years. So
where did you work?
So many in Tesco, they tend to kind of move their managers about all over the place. So I worked in so many different stores.
Shit.
But that was the. I'm trying to say answer these questions quickly. I'll just say
he's like,
basically, yeah, like Tesco was what pushed me to like breaking point, where I was getting mistreated, I was getting severely undervalued, and I was just like, fuck this, man, like I'm so much better than this, like why am I wasting my life in fucking retail? Like, don't get me wrong, if you work in Tesco and that's your thing, you work in a retail shop, that's absolutely fine. But I was just getting
nicely coverage about you, mate.
I know.
I was just about to burst in and just like, nah.
I've always known that fitness and bodybuilding should be what I've done, but I was always too scared to make that leap of faith, because working in Tesco was a guaranteed paycheck.
Cushy, mate. It's cushy.
Yeah, you're going to get that wage every week, every month.
Hard to get sacked.
Almost doesn't matter what your performance is like.
Exactly.
Honestly,
hard to get sacked.
It's very hard to get sacked. So
I literally could have done. Have you seen Ted?
Aye.
I literally could have done that. You literally.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's my answer. I can go on and on about fucking Tesco, but
Tesco.
Mine was probably.
You've worked at McDonald's.
Aye.
You look like the sort who'd work in McDonald's.
Yeah.
What?
I can
My first
imagine.
job was Primark.
Where?
Primark.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's mental.
Oh, Primark, Primark. Oh, it's up for debate. But that was we're talking about hangovers. I was 16, 17, and I don't think a single weekend, a single shift, I didn't turn up to that job with a stinking hangover or still shit faced. Yeah, that was the worst job ever.
I could make you
That really teaches you like how much you hate people.
Yeah.
Maybe just be the fact that Primark is an absolute bomb site.
Oh, that's why you hate people. You're like, just fucking fold it, put it back.
I don't get that. I think they automatically presume that it's Primark, so they can just fucking chuck shit everywhere.
But some Muppet has to tidy it up.
Yeah, that was.
Mm-hmm.
What was my?
What was yours?
I wouldn't say it was never a shit job, but I've never felt more out of place. I used to work for Lululemon, and
Really?
Really?
Yeah, mate.
They're a legging company.
Yeah, basically. Well, no, I wouldn't consider it.
Taylor was a model.
I saw leisure wear actually.
Leisure
Make
wear.
banging doggies though.
Taylor's mastered that.
I know. Too right. But I worked there, mate, and there's me, this like, was so into bodybuilding. I've come in with like Monster Factory, and there's like a fucking skull and crossbows in my back of my sweater, wearing like big baggy clothes, coming in with my prepped and packed bag, and eating like 6 meals a day, training every night, and I just couldn't. And mate, and that place was and obviously I'm just quite a loud personality. People are just naturally drawn to me, of course, but. But I know. But we were saying that. Stop being nasty, boys. Come on. But I would go in, and it was so different. It was the real opposite to me. It was like a yoga brand, and they used to have these like things to live by, and it was almost felt like a cult. And the people I worked with were awesome. I've got a couple of people that I'm good friends with from there. But it was so airy-fairy, and I'm there, you know, talking about I'm so motivated, I want to do that, and they're preaching like live each day, and I'm like, nah, I want fucking 20-inch biceps, man. You know what I mean? Like and yeah, none of the clothes fit me either. Though the clothes only went up to an XL.
A fucking lemon.
Oh well, do you know what, mate? It's good quality, bro. I'll hook you up. But yeah, that was a nightmare for me though, man. Because I'm the total opposite of that. You know, I'm quite obnoxious. I'll probably take the piss out of you, especially if you tell me you go to fucking dog yoga or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And the worst thing is I felt like I was on my own. I was on my own. It was a lonely time. It's a lonely time, but you know, kind of like you guys. I think at that point it was like, right, time to kind of nut up. And obviously, a lot of people might not know, but I'm doing my level 2 and 3 qualification. I know that you guys listening probably think I'm the most intelligent, which probably is the case, but I don't have the experience. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing.
There's a guy that messages us both for like, what should I do from a level 2?
Try to draw diagrams.
Yeah.
Stickmen.
I know. I wish I actually had them.
Have you got any?
I can find them and attach them because they're fucking awful.
Your joints for a quad stretch were amazing.
Oh my god, man!
Yeah.
I like my rear lat. I like my rear lat trap one or whatever the fuck it was. It was like, it was awful. It was awful.
Any other questions?
Nah, that was just my kind of shoot the shit one. Found out a bit more.
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah,
do you think if you're starting a diet, you should go straight to zero carbs?
Say that again?
If you're going to start a diet, should you go straight to zero carbs?
Mate, I'd rather cut my bobby off. That is so
depends
silly.
what
Well, I thought this was quite a good one because Darren started doing that right now for his recomp.
Oh, fucking
Yeah, so my answer was just going to be, it depends how experienced you are and how much
tolerate it mentally.
willpower you've got. So like,
It's going to be tough. Like
Yeah.
that's not something. If you're looking for a general transformation, I say that like you're looking to make. That's going to be so hard. You're not going to adhere to that, especially if you've not got any diet experience.
People don't know the feeling of being that depleted and running on such little carbs. I can imagine what zero. I never got as low as zero carb, but I can never imagine that, because how you feel when your carbs are about 100 grams, at least for me, you feel it. You feel everything. You feel like you're stuck in a limbo almost. It's hard. It's bizarre, but it's weirdly nice. Like you kind of crave it when you're out of it.
You literally feel the moment your stomach's empty and you know you're about to get stomach cramp.
Oh,
like when you digest a meal, you're like,
Man,
all right, that's it.
I had the worst. I had the worst stomach cramp on the adductor. I'd put Claire in a few days before, and you know I hadn't.
You'd also add Clen is the fat burner, the illegal fat burner that we're probably talking about earlier on when we're talking about fat burners.
Shit. But
I was mainly talking about DNP.
Oh,
In terms of
that's like shreddable squares, apparently.
DNP is probably so. Before I say this statement, I have never recommended anyone use this, and I never will. But DNP is a drug that you can take that will just fucking destroy your body, make you lose muscle, make you lose fat, make you lose fucking everything without even doing anything. So
I always get DNP and DMT mixed up.
Yeah,
they're both very different things.
DMT, good.
Oh yeah. Fuck's sake, that was a good one.
Yeah, what were we talking about again now?
Okay, so I put Claire in, and I was on the adductor, and like third rep in, I'm like, and then all of a sudden I almost hear this. I almost just hear this sensation of my whole abs going from this to, and it was horrible, mate. I was standing up. I was like, like crawling out.
Taylor, you're actually about to shit yourself. Just admit it.
Yeah,
it was horrible, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just went off.
So zero carb diets. I'll try and answer this just briefly and quickly by saying, if you are just a general like kind of beginner, like you've never really followed diets before, or you're not a competitor, you're not into training, a zero carb diet is not going to be sustainable. A zero carb diet does work, but you need to be extremely disciplined and have ridiculously strict willpower to be able to carry it off. So I would say for general lifestyle people, don't follow zero carb diets. But if you are an extreme or a higher level competitor, or somebody who competes, or somebody who's been training for ages and knows how to diet and knows that they've got good willpower, a zero carb diet can definitely be effective and be useful.
It's not to say you can't go into phases of using it, but I wouldn't jump straight in the bat of going straight on it. And if you do, you don't want to be there long. You want to be adding stuff in pretty quickly.
You're setting yourself up to fail. Like, you'll be able to do it for a couple of days, and then you'll just break. As Fraser has already kind of mentioned about adherence. So adherence is your ability to follow through with the plan. So if you can't adhere to the plan, it doesn't matter how good it potentially could be, you can't follow it. So the best diet that exists is a diet that you can follow. So whatever is going to be adherable to the individual. I'm pretty sure I just invented a word, by the way.
Adherable.
I'm claiming that as my own word.
Add that to the podcast dictionary. We've got
entertainment.
That's your one.
It'll be a word though, Darren.
Entertainment. Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fraser.
I'm
probably looking up sickest questions. He's probably just looking up some fucking nasty shit.
No. What's that? I think that's us been on for a
Yes,
bit.
it is a word.
Is it? Oh well. I don't care. I've claimed it already. So.
Yeah.
Podcast where everyone's dyslexic.
We need to get like our own equivalent of Jamie. I think Andy Scott would come in and be like Joe Rogan's Jamie. He just sits and he would just tell him to change the
Yeah.
just rip into him.
Literally almost got through a whole podcast without mentioning his name.
We just treat him like Reek at a Game of Thrones. We put him in the corner. Be like, fucking put that slide on.
Yeah, do you want to like wrap up at that? I think that's been a fucking awesome. Well, I say quick. It's still 50 minutes, but better than trying to hold everyone's attention for 2 hours.
I think there was a lot of good content in that though. There's a lot of people can definitely take from it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Darren, you've got to ask Taylor the other question.
Oh yeah.
Like a thing.
This is a nice end. This is a nice ending.
We were listening to a podcast. Who was on it again? Looking.
Look, James Holland,
Fuad and Luke.
Listing them off.
Were talking about this, and Fuad goes, if I brought a bag of dildos into a room and my wife got excited, she isn't wife material, right? And Luke was being like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What's your position on that?
So,
I don't. You guys, that was awful, man. I thought that was a good one. Is that the joke?
No. What do you think if you're?
I was into the punchline.
No.
If your girl gets excited about a bag of dildos, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
A bad thing.
Why is that a bad thing?
Because, man, she'll be excited by your piece. Why do you think that was a good thing?
Well, yeah, it shows that she's got a wild side and she's going to be excited.
Oh, fucking hell, wild side.
Let the second argument begin.
Taylor, too much of a fucking square, non-adventurous in the bedroom.
Fuck's sake, you'll be too busy shoving the dildo.
That is just excited to put him up his arse.
Exactly.
The thing is, I feel like it's now me and Fraser's job to spice up your sex life, Taylor.
Horrible people.
Bags of dildos everywhere.
I know.
Superb. That's. I don't think we can't talk that, so we need to just end the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Comment below what you think.
I know, fuck. Slide into the DMs. Right. Have a good one, boys.
Thanks for watching, people.
See you later.